ball because she knows she needs an out any way that she can get it. But her personality is really what makes her such a good competitor in tight situations, Noah.
After a big strikeout, a big play, you always see the emotion from Taylor Pennell. Led the nation in saves a season ago, a role that she told Larissa Anderson she wanted all the way back in October during fall ball, that she wanted to be the closer, she wanted to lead the country in saves. She did that a season ago. Has not quite put up the same kind of numbers that she did last year, but she's still been that go-to arm in relief to try to close games out. But today is the starter in Game 2 of this series against Texas A&M. You mentioned it with Taylor Pennell, but that changeup is what makes her so good.
Yeah, she's going to not overpower anybody today. 63-64, that's about the top of what Pennell has in her arsenal in terms of mile per hour. But her changeup, again, right there, we see it. It is devastating for these hitters.
All the way down to 49, quite the speed difference between the mid-60s that you'll see from her. Facing Amari Harper, junior from California. Just misses the zone here.
And how many pitchers do we really know that'll throw changeups back-to-back to such a big hitter? It's really cool that she has the confidence in her changeup to be able to do so.
On 3-2, it slides outside. It's a walk, and Amari Harper is on base with one out in the first.
And not a horrible at bat there from Pennell. A lot of competitive pitches, just barely misses out of the zone. Knows she can't leave anything over the heart of the plate, so she is playing around with those borderline pitches, making sure that she doesn't give up any hard-hit balls this early.
That is the thing with Taylor Pennell that's so good, typically, the location and where she throws pitches, because you mentioned she doesn't necessarily have the velocity that a lot of others do, so she's got to hit the spots well.
Right. And I think one reason we've seen her numbers take a slight decline this year is, one, she's not in the role that she's always comfortable in. She's had to step up and be in a role that, you know, she's not typically in as a starter. But two, last year with Lauren Krings, the senior, there was such a speed difference between a 70-mile-an-hour pitcher and then Taylor Pennell's changeup.
So after she walked Harper, she throws the first three out of the zone to Perez, and Julia Crenshaw wants to have a word with her. Here's the look at the difference in ERA, just a 1.41. She was locked down, holding opponents to under 200 batting average. This season, not that a 3.38 is a bad ERA whatsoever, but just a little bit higher than it was a season ago when she was so good in that closer role.
Right, and you've got to understand, SEC teams last year with the role she was in, they were only seeing her maybe one time, two times through. Now Pennell is being forced to get outside of her box and throw to teams almost every day of the SEC series.
So strike in there to Perez, 3-1. It's a great point. You typically almost never see her come in before the sixth inning. So you throw her in the sixth inning, she throws the sixth and the seventh. She goes one time through the order, and that's the only time that the order sees her. Slow roller to first. Abby Hay picks it up and takes it over to the bag. 2 outs.
What I like about Pennell starting this game, though, is that from the last game, Missouri really needs a competitor on the mound, somebody that they believe in, somebody that they know is going to give it their all. And I do think that's Taylor Pennell in this situation, and hopefully her spark and her personality helps tighten up this Missouri defense a little bit in Game 2.
Larissa Anderson's team gave up 3 runs in the top of the first in Game 1 of the doubleheader. That came on a 3-run home run from the one that's stepping in the batter's box here, and Mac Barbara. Was her 7th home run of the season, 3rd most on the team. It immediately gave Texas A&M a 3-0 lead. They led all the way till the 6th when Madison Walker hit a grand slam. Missouri took a lead, but it was only momentarily because Texas A&M bounced back with 3 runs in the 7th. There's that devastating changeup from Pennell. Got Barbara off time. It's a called strike.
Yeah, and what's so nasty about it is that, as you can see, Barbara wanted to swing at it was so early that it looks almost like a check swing.
This one, she bounces it hard through the right side for a base hit. The throw home to Crenshaw is not in time. A run scores, but Barbara's out at second.
Wow, heads up play to go home to second to get that out, Noah.
Amari Harper does score the run. Texas A&M up 1-0 through the first half inning. 3-hole in the lineup for the Tigers today. First pitch swinging is Julia Crenshaw. She fouls it straight back against Lessentine. Crenshaw showed bunt, pulled it back, but it's still a strike, and it's quickly 0-2.
Missouri looking to Julia Crenshaw to kind of light a fire under them. Obviously a devastating loss last game, but not within, reach of beating the #1. Just couldn't find a way to get it done. Needs somebody to step up in the box and light a spark for this team.
So much of the offense has come from Crenshaw this season. 377 batting average. She started that 6th inning with a leadoff double. Slow roller left side. Powell charges, flings it across the diamond in time to get Crenshaw. With Sydney Lessentine, mid-60s is where that sits, and also a pretty solid changeup to change speeds too.
And that is what makes this pitching staff for A&M so effective. I haven't seen anybody in their staff between the 3 of them that doesn't have a really competitive ERA, but also all 3 of them have a really good changeup. And it really doesn't matter what arm they have in the mound. Obviously, the pitcher that we saw last game is their ace, Emily. But Lessentine's going to be able to get it done, too, and be very competitive today.
Stefania Abrascato fouls it off down the first base line, 1-1. Had an early base hit in game 1, an RBI single that scored Missouri's first run of the day. And had the only Missouri hit until the 6th inning when the Tigers scored 4 runs, got that grand slam from Madison Walker, took a 5-4 lead at one time. The only offense they had whatsoever was from Stefania Abrascato. The 1-2. Fouls it straight back.
And Abrascato finds her way back into the 2-hole after we had a conversation with Doris Anderson, head coach for Missouri, saying she didn't really like Abrascato in that position, but couldn't really find another place for her, anyone better to fill that hole.
Yeah, she said it wasn't anything against Abrascato. She said, I honestly don't really like anyone in the 2-hole right now for us. And she said it was one of those things where everyone that she put there felt like that they had to do something different because they're being moved up in the lineup. And she said, I didn't need that. I just need them to be themselves. Abrascato loops it foul in right field.
And Abrascato has had plenty of competitive at-bats this season, but traditionally a 2-hole is somebody that you want that can put down a bunt, run it out, be safe, somebody that gets on base, is willing to move runners, and Abrascato is just a little bit more of a power hitter, not someone that's going to lay down a bunt at just a whim.
Pops it up left side. Powell calls off everybody and makes the grab. 2 outs.
Third baseman, number 2, Madison Walker.
Here comes Madison Walker after her 16th home run of the season. A grand slam in the 6th inning of game 1. That, for the moment, was the go-ahead grand slam. Gave Missouri a 5-4 lead. They were just 3 outs away from knocking off the #1 team in the country. Give a lot of credit to Texas A&M too, Maddie. You got your backs against the wall. You're on the road. A team just took the lead after a grand slam, and you've only got 3 outs to work with. The way that they came out in the top of that 7th inning was impressive.
Right, and I think A&M, they know this is the first time in program history that they've been a #1 team, and they're not wanting to give that up just yet.
Hard chopper to second. That's Dement on to season number 5. They were number 6 in the country to begin the season. The preseason poll never fell below 6th. And now all the way up to #1 for the first time in program history.
And right here with Coco Woolley, who's up to bat, you're seeing a true Aggie, committed to the Aggies in high school, was not originally committed to Trisha Ford, so that's kind of an interesting story there, but has exceeded expectations and just been a fan favorite for this A&M softball team.
Yeah, in her 4th season with the program, she was here before Trisha Ford became the head coach 3 years ago, and Coach Ford was telling us that when Coco committed here, this program wasn't necessarily where it is right now, right, being the top team in the country, but they have built this program on her. She hardly grounds it to second, and that's Sophie Smith, 1 down.
Center fielder number 33.
A testament to Coco, like we just mentioned. Coach Ford also said she was the most athletic player that she's ever coached in her 14 years.
It's now Allie Enright at the plate, who had one of the biggest swings of the day for Texas A&M in Game 1 when they were tied 5-5 in the 7th. A 2-run double served as the game-winning hit. Enright skies it into right field. Abrascato chasing back, and it clangs off the wall. Enright with a stand-up double. Last 2 at-bats for Enright. A 2 RBI double in Game 1, now a double in Game 2.
A really smooth swing. It takes a pitch that's actually on the inner half and is able to drive it to right field, elevates the ball just a little bit, bangs off the very bottom of the fence, and that's where that small roll is coming from, and Abrascato picks it up, and Enright stands up on second.
That is ripped into center field by KK Dement on the first pitch of the at-bat, and Texas A&M has runners on the corners with just 1 out here in the second.
Number 20, catcher Olivia Johnson.
And there is not a hitter in this Texas A&M lineup, Noah, that is not to be feared by these Missouri pitchers. I mean, all the way 1 through 9. All of them can hit. All of them can do damage. Even if they're a slapper, they're hitting the ball hard somewhere. So Pinnell's still in a tough situation, even with the bottom of the order being up.
1 run in the first for Texas A&M, jumped out to a first inning lead for the 2nd straight game after a 3-0 lead in Game 1. Now 1-0 here in Game 2, and the Aggies have a chance to extend that here with a couple on base for Olivia Johnson. Catcher who did not play in Game 1 of the doubleheader now starts Game 2.
That's one of the interesting things about A&M is that they have catchers that they can interchange. You know, they pretty much have a different catcher depending on who the pitcher is, so they're able to be that versatile because all of them can compete and catch at the D1 level in the SEC.
Taylor Pinnell quickly ahead of Olivia Johnson here, 0-2. Called strike 3, runner takes off for second. That's a stolen base for KK Dement, and there's a couple in scoring position for Texas A&M, but Missouri does get the second out with a Taylor Pinnell strikeout.
Really good changeup there from Taylor Pinnell as well. It just cuts the outer half, fools her. She's way early getting her hands in front, so it looks like a check swing, but she's not on time to hit this pitch whatsoever. Was expecting a fastball.
Down 1-0. elevates it, shallow center field.
Sờ vào đây mẹ đánh
And
tay
right,
nhá.
one away.
Mẹ nói là con không sờ vào đây của mẹ mà. Bác cho con ăn rồi, con ăn đi.
Lessentine has induced a lot of weak contact so far. Softly hit balls, whether that's on the ground or in the air, Maddie, but doing a really nice job so far.
Right, she's been a true freshman, somebody who's came in and made an impact instantly. She moves the ball well, she locates the ball well, as you're gonna see as that pitch was just a little bit off the plate. She's not leaving anything over the middle where these Missouri Tigers can crush it.
4 batters faced, 4 outs with a couple flyouts, a couple groundouts. Really solid through her first inning and a third. That dips just below the knees to Abby Hay, the first baseman. And it's one thing, Maddie, to go from high school to the college level, specifically Division I, but to do it in the SEC like Lessentine has as a true freshman is really impressive.
Right, she's done a great job, and I think it's also a testament, too, to Coach Ford and the staff. They've all just been competitors. Their ERAs are all below 3, which means they're competing every single time they step in the box, no matter who it is.
This is the first base runner that she has allowed. It's a walk with 1 out to Abby Hay after retiring the first 4 batters she's seen.
Number 19, Kara Daly.
Kara Daly bloops it right side, foul territory, and just off the glove of Maya Perez. Another life for Kara Daly.
Yeah, just skipped off the back end of her glove, Noah. Not sure if she didn't get a good read on it. The sun is beaming in that direction.
Called strike, inside corner. Kara Daly quickly behind 0-2. Game 1 was her first game back in the last 6 from injury, and it was a tough one. 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. The 1-2. Daly chases it low. It's a strikeout. First of the day for Lessentine.
I love the way that this hitter was set up. Pitch before this was previously a rise ball, comes right back with a drop. Hard to identify because they are both on that vertical plane, whether the ball's going up or the ball's going down. That's what makes that combo with rise and drop so devastating to hit. And obviously right there, Kara Daly was fooled by that drop.
So her 4th strikeout of the day and 5 at-bats for Kara Daly. Lessentine's first today, trying to strand a base runner on first after a 1-out walk to Abby Hay. She's got Sophie Smith at the plate. True freshman from Spring, Texas. She was an all-state selection in the state of Texas a year ago as a senior. 1-1. Smith's out in front of that off speed. It's 1-2. Here comes the pitch. And it's fouled straight back by Smith. Does a nice job battling a 2-strike at bat here.
Typically only sees maybe 1 time through the lineup in her traditional role as a closer. So we'll see how she does this second time around with these A&M hitters.
So you're thinking 3, maybe max 4 innings from her. You're probably not going to throw her out there more than 2 times through the order.
I do, but I do think that Pinnell is such a speed difference that maybe she can go the distance. Not what you would typically see in the SEC, if you will.
Powell squares around a bunt and fouls it off.
Umpire saying she was in the box when the hitter.
Larissa Anderson immediately steps out of the dugout, and she wants to see if this can get looked at. And the three umpires are going to get together and talk it over. Chris Neighbors is the home plate umpire who immediately made the call that she was still in the box, and that
Missouri
was a foul
is
ball.
challenging the call of a foul ball of the batter in the box. This play is under further review.
Thoughts?
A couple things. So one, her front foot actually steps out of the box when she's going into her slapping position. Right there, she's out of the box technically, more towards home plate. Not out of the front of the box, but out of the side of home plate. So we will see what kind of call they make. They used to be pretty strict on slappers about 4 years ago. It was a pretty big rule change. They've lessened up on that since then.
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. It will be a foul ball. This will be Missouri's first challenge.
So there you have it. Call is upheld. It stays a foul ball. Kennedy Powell is not out. Instead, it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, there you see the foot out of the box. But when it does hit her, that is without question left foot still in the box. Turns on one and rips it foul.
And Missouri challenging that, just trying to find an out anywhere that they can. They don't want to have to throw to these A&M hitters more than they have to.
Such a great offense, 1 through 9. Maddie touched on it a little bit ago. There's not necessarily one specific bat that you circle and you say, watch out for that one, but instead it's all 9. Powell pops it up, left side of the infield. Madison Walker calls off everybody, and there's 1 out. And I'm sure you love that one big bat, but when the makeup of a team is the way Texas A&M is, where every single person you send to the box is hitting close or above 300, I mean, there's just no breaks in this lineup.
No, you cannot take pitches off against these A&M hitters. One mistake, and it could be crushed, no matter who it is.
Mari Harper walked and scored the game's only run to this point, back in the first inning. Three 3-0 the count from Pinnell. Four-pitch walk. Harper's on base again with a walk. Second time in her first 2 plate appearances.
Not what you're really wanting to see out of Pinnell. Probably one of my biggest softball pet peeves, Noah, is a 4-pitch walk. It's just non-competitive. You didn't even give them a chance to take the bat off their shoulders.
They have gotten a little bit more out of her so far in the start than what they got in game 1 when Sarah Harrison did not get through 2 innings, gave up 3 runs, all of them on 1 swing of the bat. It was a Mac Barbara 3-run home run in the first inning. But Marissa McCann came in and was locked down for a majority of the rest of the game. Missouri ended up taking a lead into the 7th inning, but gave up 3 runs, allowed Texas A&M to come from behind and win 7-5. And after the 4-pitch walk for Pinnell, it's a 2-0 count to Perez, and that is where Crenshaw draws the line. She walks out to have a word with Pinnell, and so does Larissa Anderson.
And I don't think it's lost on Pinnell what part of the lineup she's in.
Yeah.
Obviously not wanting to leave anything over the heart of the plate, but still needs to be competitive, and a little bit of frustration going on out there from Taylor Pinnell. Wondering if they're not giving a mechanical correction being passed in through Coach Anderson. Just giving her maybe something that she needs to fix to execute those pitches, because she did just throw 6 straight balls. Needs to make some sort of adjustment. Can't afford to walk another one. And put runners on first and second.
Three and 0 again.
And just not a good situation to put Perez on base, to have the home run hitter from the previous game, Barbara, coming up to bat.
Perez goes after the 3-0. A little surprised by that, maybe.
Giving a green light to your best hitter.
Yeah. Three-one. Another foul ball, straight back. Pinnell's done a nice job to get back in this at-bat.
One thing I love from Perez, those last 2 swings, she's absolutely coming unglued, coming out of her shoes. No, she's still got all the power with the count being 3-1, and she's taking a big hack.
3-2 for Pinnell. That is high and outside to Perez. It is back-to-back walks given up by Pinnell to bring up the cleanup hitter, Mac Barbara, who already has a 3-run home run today back in game 1. Not who you want to see digging into the box if you're Taylor Pinnell in Missouri after Mac Barbara did this the first time she had runners on first and second.
Yeah, and that wasn't even the best piece of a ball that she's gotten, obviously. It barely skates over the fence. She's able to do a lot more damage than that, and Missouri knows it.
She had the 3-run home run in game 1, and she has the RBI in the only run of game 2 so far, back in the first inning when she had an RBI single that scored Harper.
And it looks like Pinnell has lost a little bit of control in the strike zone right now. As you can see, Julia Crenshaw was shifted over to that outside corner, and the ball actually skated inside. Not sure what's going on.
10 of the last 12 pitches Pinnell has thrown have been out of the zone. That one is poked foul by Barbara, 2-1.
And I have to wonder sometimes what the stamina is of Pinnell being in these pressure situations where she's used to only throwing 1 or 2 innings a game versus starting. It's a completely different sense of pressure. It's a completely different adrenaline, and you have to have the stamina to be able to handle it.
Barbara skies it into right field. That's shallow. Abrascado's got it. Runners cannot tag. Runners on first and second still, but there's 2 outs in the inning.
Calms down, makes a good pitch, executes against Barbara, probably the most feared hitter, or that hitter that you don't want to beat you today.
Coco Woolley grounded out to second her first time up. Had a huge 7th inning swing in game 1 with Texas A&M down 5-4, an RBI double. Tied the game at 5, and then the next batter to the plate was Allie Enright, who scored 2 more on a double to give Texas A&M a 7-5 lead, and eventually went on to win it by that same score.
Yeah, and Coco is such a threat up in the box because she is a triple threat. She's able to hit. She's got her feet standing still at this at-bat. Previous game, we watched her slap for power, and she's able to drag because she's got a ton of speed.
That bounces off the leg of Crenshaw. Both runners advance, and there are a couple in scoring position for Texas A&M. slaps it into left field. She brings in a run. Harper scores. Texas A&M's lead is now 2-0.
And Coco Woolley, who's on first base, is such a threat on the base path. Super aggressive. Wouldn't be surprised if we don't see her try to swipe 2 here. But as I said, such a triple threat. Feet are moving in the box. They weren't the previous pitch. So she decided to do that on that pitch and still stroked it out to left field. Impressive that she's able to switch in the middle of an at-bat like that and decide to move her feet and still hit the ball so hard.
It gives her her 4th hit of the day, too. She's driven in 3 runs over the course of this doubleheader. Last 2 at-bats for Allie Enright have been doubles, back in the 7th inning of game 1, then in the 2nd inning of game 2. Runner takes off, Woolley, the throw.
Pretty great throw there from Julia Crenshaw, perfectly in front of second base, but we've got obstruction on number 22, Sophie Smith. Basically, the Texas A&M runner, Coco Woolley, didn't have a path to the plate, or to the bag, if you will.
Chris Anderson wanted to get an explanation. She does. With the call being obstruction, and there's a couple runners on base for Allie Enright.
Yeah, no way for Coco Woolley to get to second base without being out. It is obstruction, but a tough spot to be in if you're Sophie Smith, the second baseman, because that ball is literally taking her into that base path. Really a lose-lose or a no-choice situation if you're the second baseman.
Enright slowly rolls it foul, third base side. So it's 0-2. Chance for Pinnell to get out of this inning, allowing just the 1 run with Texas A&M up 2-0, or it can turn into a big inning here with Enright at the plate and 2 runners in scoring position. 1-2. It's given her a run in the 1st inning and the 3rd inning. Kaylee Langer at the plate has been hitting in the 9-hole lately, but here in the 8-hole. Has done such a nice job of turning the order over to the top the last few games. Fouls that one off. After a rough patch to begin the season, that bat has come on really strong for Langer for about a month now. Squared around to bunt. It's out of the zone. 2 balls and a strike now from Lessentine to Langer. The 2-1. Cut on and missed. Lessentine gets Langer to chase a bit low.
And that strike zone awareness continues to be a problem for Missouri. That is a pitch, that is a ball out of the hand the entire way, and Missouri's still swinging at it.
Chopped over to third, touched up in foul territory by Powell.
I've been pretty impressed with Lessentine thus far. Has such good command of all 3 pitches, whether it's a rise, a drop, or a changeup. She's shown all 3, and all 3 have been consistent this far.
Which one do you think's been most effective?
I think she's getting a ton of swing and misses on her rise, really great action, but her drop is really what has probably had the most movement in the bottom half of the zone.
Another 2-2. Good hold from Langer, full count.
And like we talked about, Noah, she so easily splits that vertical plane between rise and drop. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a drop here just to switch eye levels.
Langer rolls it to short and off the glove of the diving Woolley. Langer wants two. She slides in safely. Tigers have the leadoff hitter in scoring position here in the bottom of the third.
And Langer just so athletic, takes a drop ball, drives it the other way, has hard contact, and is able to read the ball and read the fielder and legs it out for a double.
Third double of the season for Kaylee Langer. Letting her dugout know about it too after she's in there to lead off this inning, and a chance for Missouri to strike back down 2-0. And Nevaeh Watkins at the plate, who's been quite the fun story for Missouri. Up until last week's midweek game, had not started a game, only played in 5 total. Got the opportunity against Southern Illinois. Didn't have a hit in the game, but hit the ball hard every time she came to the plate. That was enough for Larissa Anderson to continue to give her another opportunity, and has been in the starting lineup just about every game since, except for game 1 of this doubleheader today.
And that did surprise me, Noah, I have to admit. I know we talked about it earlier, but I really thought we'd see Watkins in game 1, but I'm not wondering if that wasn't just trying to get Kara Daly back in the lineup, trying to get Julia Crenshaw back in the lineup, and couldn't really find a home for her.
A true freshman from Texas who suffered an injury during the fall. Squares around to bunt, lays it down. Lessentine on to first. Watkins does her job, advancing Langer to third. The 30th sack bunt this season for Missouri, second most in the SEC.
I have to think that is somewhat in part to their lack of offensive production. Just have to put the ball on the ground a little bit more so that they can advance their base runners at all chances, because they cannot risk people popping up on the infield in such a key position. They have to advance those runners into scoring position.
It did work well for them in game 1, able to manufacture a run in the second inning because of the sack bunt that advanced a runner to second, and then a batter later, Stefania Abriscato hit an RBI single into right field. See what Julia Crenshaw can do here at the top of the order for Missouri. She had a double in the 6th inning of game 1 that led off that inning, was part of that 4-run 6th that allowed Missouri to take the lead. Grounded out to third her first time up here in game 2. One. It's 1-2. Outer half of the plate for a called strike.
And like I've been saying, Noah, Lessentine's just able to command all 3 pitches, rise, drop, and change. That changeup landed in there beautifully at 51 miles an hour, about a 10-mile-an-hour difference between her fast stuff.
Chop to short, charging to throw home, not in time! Langer scores and Missouri cuts it to a 1-run game. I think Trisha Ford's gonna say, let's take a look at this one.
Wow.
Texas A&M is challenging the call at home plate of the runner being safe. This play is under further review.
So call in the field safe, Missouri's first run of the game. Trisha Ford is going to review it.
What an awesome play. Doesn't even have to throw home, just does, because she knows she's got plenty of time. Hard to see where the glove exactly is at on that angle.
Woolley knew the whole way she was coming home with it. Charged, made the decision to throw home, made it a bang-bang play.
Looked like Kaylee Langer even was saying she thought she was out, so Yeah.
After review, the ruling on the field has been changed. The runner is out at home plate. This will be Texas A&M's first challenge.
A challenge well used by Trisha Ford, and what a phenomenal play from Woolley at short to make the play, quickly fire home and get the out and not allow Missouri to score.
What's so cool about that play is Woolley was on the run, knew that her play, she had plenty of time at home. Traditionally, you'd probably see somebody go to first base, but she fielded that ball correctly and able to get the runner at home.
Abrascato launches the first pitch into left field. Este the grab, and that ends the inning.
And the culture of their team and what the vibe is, and it lets you see a little bit about what the team's about, you know, from the insider perspective.
First pitch strike from Taylor Pinnell, trying to bounce back after giving up a run in the third inning. You had mentioned it in the third, but a unique situation for Taylor Pinnell, not only because she's starting and she doesn't typically do that, but you don't see her go multiple times through the lineup. She usually faces a batter once, and that's about it, but here we are the second time through the order for Texas A&M. KK DeMent whiffs after it. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and an out to start the fourth.
What a great changeup here, and we've been talking about it all day long. Just devastating speed differences from Taylor Pinnell. Really hard to identify. KK DeMent, just no chance on that ball headed out of the zone.
Fantastic start to the inning for Taylor Pinnell with her second strikeout of the day. Olivia Johnson squared to bunt. She did not go. Able to pull it back just in time. 1-0.
We're seeing a different Taylor Pinnell than what we saw last inning, and I can't help but think it's to what Larissa Anderson said in her interview. Taylor Pinnell went back out to the bullpen, found her timing, found her rhythm, and is able to execute that changeup once again here in the fourth.
A couple out of the zone to start this at bat, but a very quick strikeout in the first batter she faced. Right back up the middle. Fielded by Smith, zips it to first, not in time. Infield single for Olivia Johnson, and there's a runner on base for Texas A&M.
And just really unfortunate, this ball's hit off the end of the bat. Sophie Smith charges it, but maybe could charge it a little bit harder. I'm not sure, but the play is called safe, and that is the right call. Just a slow spinning ground ball over to second base, and there's just not enough time to get the runner out.
Just the 12th hit of the season for Olivia Johnson.
Running at first for Johnson will be number 99, Mathis.
Kelsey Mathis is the pinch runner for Johnson at first base for Texas A&M. With Kramer Este at the plate, who grounded out to first in her only time up so far. Squares to bunt, lays it down. Pinnell over to first. Kramer Este does the job she's asked to do, a sacrifice bunt. Puts Mathis up to second.
Taylor Pinnell does a great job of fielding her positions. That is one of the things that's unique about her as well. She's not scared to get dirty. She's being aggressive on ground balls, and I love to see it as being a former pitcher.
We saw it on the first batter of the game on a bunt that was popped up near the line at first base, and Taylor Pinnell laid out, dove for it, made the grab.
Taking the outs herself.
Help yourself, they say. Way out in front of the changeup that time. Kennedy Powell back at the top of the order. The 0-1. Dips just below the knees. A ball and a strike now.
And this is about the time that I think Missouri's probably starting to consider getting somebody loose in the bullpen, thinking about a pitching change in the upcoming innings.
Rolls it over to first. Hay with a bit of a bobble, but plenty of time to corral and step on the bag to end the inning. 2-0 Texas A&M as we head to the bottom of in the league. Lessentine back out in the circle for her 4th inning of work, where through 3 innings she has given up just 1 hit and no runs. We talk a lot about Emily Kennedy because of her being the ace and how great she is, but what they've gotten from Lessentine so far, Maddie, in game 2 has been really nice.
And I think it's promising too if you're Tricia Ford, A&M coach. You've got a freshman who's going to step up in the place of Emily Kennedy being a senior this year. So Lessentine getting plenty of time to step into that role being a sophomore next year.
Madison Walker loops it out of play right side. It's 2-1. Yeah, you're talking about somebody who was playing just high school ball a year ago. New Mexico Gatorade Player of the Year as a senior in high school, now immediately stepping into a very important role in the SEC for the top team in the country as the number 2. Gets Walker out in front here. It's 2-2. Madison Walker's last 3 hits have all been home runs. You take those away, she's 0 for her last 16, make it 0 for her last 17. Kind of boom or bust as she goes down on strikeouts here.
Number 3, the designated player.
Like I said, Noah, Lessentine's drop ball all day has had the movement. Just a ton of downward spin on this ball. Walker identifies it, thinks it's a strike, but it goes way down below the ankles.
Just last inning, I asked you what you thought has been the most effective, and you said, well, she's getting the most swing and miss on the rise ball up, but the drop ball is what has the most movement right now.
Right. She's doing a great job of commanding all 3 pitches, though, I have to say. She hasn't had one pitch that I've even considered to be off today.
Yeah, that changeup has been really good, too. Ebbs started the hands, but she was able to hold off. 1 ball and 1 strike to the Kentucky transfer.
And I think some of what we're seeing, too, is just Missouri starting to press a little bit too hard. They know what's at stake. They're starting to swing at bad pitches, just trying to generate anything because they want to win this game. They want to go to postseason at the end of the year, and they are just putting so much pressure on themselves.
3 games below 500. You have to have a record of 500 or better overall to be eligible to make a regional. They've got everything else that would say tournament-level team. Ebbs with a swing and a miss. Johnson picks it up, has to throw down to first for the 2nd out. They've got a strength of schedule, Maddie, that's number 6 in the country, an RPI that sits at 33 currently. So those are 2 things that say tournament resume, a team that should make a regional. But if you don't get that record at 500 or above, which is going to be really difficult in the final 8 games of the season, all against SEC teams, it doesn't really matter what your strength of schedule and RPI are.
Right, and I've been in that exact situation. You're scratching and clawing just to get above 500 because you're going to qualify for an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, but you have to be above 500, and that means winning the games that you're supposed to win. Missouri has now put themselves in a position where they have to win games that they're not supposed to win, like this game today against number 1 Texas A&M.
Missouri was very conscious about making that schedule tough in the non-conference because they had the hopes of being a top 8 team like they were last year and hosting a super regional. That was the goal again this year. Now the wins and losses just haven't played out for that. Hay smokes it right back up the middle, and that's a 2-out single for Abby Hay, who thought about 2, taking a big turnaround first, but she'll stay put.
Good piece of hitting here from Abby Hay. Drops her hand on this lower ball and is able to get this drop ball extended up in the air to center field. And it's hit so hard, there's a little bit of a bobble from the A&M center fielder. Good job by Abby Hay. Hasn't been an everyday starter in the lineup due to some injuries. Is finding her way back now.
That's a bat, if you can really get her going, Maddie, in these final couple weeks of the season, could really make a difference. 2nd team All-SEC as a true freshman last year, but you alluded to it, the injuries just haven't allowed her to have that kind of season again this year.
Right, and I think that's Missouri's downfall as well, having some big people who played a huge piece last year, really underperforming this year, and that's led to some pretty bad midweek losses where Missouri should have won.
That and the pieces that you lost from last year, it's not like the number was big. You didn't lose a ton of seniors, but man, the seniors that Missouri did lose were crucial. Daly gets a piece of that. you're talking about Lauren Krings, your ace in the circle, Maddie Gallagher at second base, Jenna Laird at short, Alex Honnold in center field. Just huge pieces to that Missouri team a season ago that are not back this year. And then you couple that with the point you just made, is the returners maybe haven't had the kind of seasons they did a year ago. Daly elevates it, shallow left field. That's called off by aspirations they have for Oklahoma City after a deep postseason run last year that didn't quite get them there. Mari Harper loops it into right field. Sophie Smith, the second baseman, is there to corral it. One down.
First baseman number 24, Maya Perez.
This is the third time through the order for Taylor Pinnell, the typical closer for Missouri. At most, you'll really see her go only 2 innings. You don't normally see her face the order more than once, but different story today, earning the start in game 2 of the doubleheader. And when you factor in everything, that she's not used to this role, Maddie, you're playing the #1 team in the country, 4 1/3 innings, only 2 runs on 5 hits. She's been pretty good.
Yeah, she has been very, very good. Other than a little bit of timing issue in the third, I think she's been pretty dominant today and using all of her pitches and being very effective. When I was a starter, I used to say, I've just got to get my team through the 5th and the 6th, and then I can let somebody close it out. So I think that's really what she's trying to do today, is just make it as long as she can against A&M and then let somebody else take it the rest of the way.
Little role reversal. Let somebody else come in and close the game for her in a starting spot.
Right, new for her. I was lucky as well. Had a pretty dominant closer when I played, so that was much appreciated because it just took a little bit of pressure off.
2-2 now to Maya Perez, who's had such a breakout sophomore season after a freshman year last year where she hit just .214, only started 11 games, was not by any means a part of the everyday lineup. Bouncer right back to Pinnell with an underhand flip to first. 2 outs. Be sure to check out the SEC Women's Golf Championship tomorrow morning from Pelican Golf Club in Bel Air, Florida. The final 2 teams will square off in a match play format to determine the title. Coverage begins at 10 a.m. Eastern at 9 Central on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Are you a golfer, Maddie?
I'm not. I could never change that softball swing to a golf swing.
I am also not a golfer in the slightest. I try to be every once in a while, but every time I swing a club, I remember why I'm not.
And I'm just a little bit too competitive to play putt-putt.
Yes. Mac Barbara skies it into left field. Cara Daly, the shortstop, settles underneath it. It's a 1-2-3 5th inning for Taylor Pinnell in Missouri as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Through 4 innings, the freshman Sydney Lessentine has been dealing. No runs, 2 hits, 4 strikeouts, but also getting some help from the defense too behind her, Maddie.
Right, she's able to pitch more freely with that amazing defense. We've seen an amazing play coming from all parts of the infield, but more specifically that left side. Watch Coco Woolley throw this runner out at home, and that's what keeps this game scoreless for Lessentine.
Woolley able to preserve the shutout currently for Lessentine, who's given up just the 2 hits through 4 innings with 4 strikeouts. What a great number 2 to have in the circle behind Emily Kennedy, too. Maya Dodge, the pinch hitter, on the first pitch she sees, skies it to the warning track in left field. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 5th.
Not super typical to see a pinch hitter swing at the first pitch. Coming in cold off the bench, but decides she likes it and she's going to try to take it for a drive.
You think part of that has to do with Lessentine just hasn't thrown many out of the zone? She's attacking the strike zone really well?
She is. She's throwing a ton of strikes. But I think maybe that's an approach different that Missouri needs to take. And when we talked to Coach Anderson earlier this week, she did mention, you know, we're taking a ton of strikes and then we're swinging at balls over our head. I think they just need to be, as a whole, a little bit more competitive first, second pitch, because A&M is going right at them, trying to get ahead in the count.
Well, that's been one of the things with Kaylee Langer, who's at the plate right now. She started the season 0 for 15, got off to such a rough start, but is hitting over 300 since that start. And Larissa Anderson said she's kind of had the approach that anything above the belt, she's going to let it go, and she's been crushing pitches that are low in the zone. Even those that are maybe below the knees and out of the zone, she's still hitting those pitches. So that's kind of been the mindset for her, is go get those low pitches, leave anything above the belt go by.
Right, and that's really a simple approach, and Coach Anderson said that as well. They're trying to make it as simple as possible so that these Missouri hitters can stick to the plan and not try to do too much and not get outside of the plan, because their approaches haven't been great up in the box, as you can see by their numbers. So they're trying to make adjustments, and they're trying to make small adjustments in order to be successful.
Larissa Anderson did say when they came up with that approach for Kaylee Langer, she responded with, but that pitch looks so good coming in, I want to swing at it every time. Won't have to swing this time around. She gets hit by a pitch, and there's a runner on first with one out here in the 5th for the Tigers.
The left fielder, number 35, Nevaeh Watkins.
And that brings up a point that Larissa Anderson told us about 2 weeks ago with Kaylee Langer leading into the Texas series. She said when she's getting hit by pitches, not that I'm asking her to get hit by a ton of pitches, but when she's getting hit by pitches, that's usually when her timing is on and when she's really seeing the ball well. Nevaeh Watkins lifts it into the air left field. That's Eshte with the grab, 2 down.
And I think to your point, Noah, if you are getting hit by a pitch, you are just commanding the strike zone a little bit better. You are waiting for your pitch. You're not trying to swing at stuff that you shouldn't be. You're just being patient in there, and if you get hit, you get hit. Missouri hitters really trying to understand what their strengths are. They're very young, lots of sophomores, lots of freshmen in the...
And she wanted to be a starter. That was the whole goal until the fall of last season. It was October that she went up to Larissa Anderson and said, I'd like to try being the closer. I want to be the person that you hand the ball to in the 7th inning. I want to close out wins for us, and she did that more than anybody in the country did a season ago. Facing 5, 6, and 7 in this Texas A&M lineup, starting with Coco Woolley, the shortstop who is the sole reason that Sydney Lessentine still has a shutout in the circle because of a great throw to home that was able to get Kaylee Langer. Keep it a 2-0 game instead of being 2-1. 3-1. So Julia Crenshaw is out. Stefania Abriscato is the new catcher for the Tigers. It was the first game, or second game technically, both games the doubleheader today, that Crenshaw was back in the starting lineup after missing a couple with that hand injury from when she got hit by a pitch last week against Mississippi State. She was pinch hit for just last half inning, and I would imagine, and not trying to make any assumptions here, but I would imagine it probably has something to do with that hand, Maddie, considering you're probably not going to pinch hit for your best hitter.
Right. I have to think so too, Noah. And you know, one game is one thing, but playing a doubleheader is another, being injured.
Claire Cahalan, who pinch hit for, is staying in the game in left field in place of Nevaeh Watkins. And Watkins has moved over to right field where Abriscato was, who's now catching. Runner takes off. The throw down to second's not in time, and Woolley has her second stolen base of the day. One in game 1, now one in game 2. And there's Madison Updegrove, who comes in for Sophie Smith at second base. So a handful of defensive substitutions and movements for this Missouri defense here in the top of the 6th. Allie Enright skies it into right field, tailing towards foul territory. Would have been a home run if it was fair, but it's foul. Couple big swings for Enright today. A double in the 7th inning of game 1, then a double right away in the 2nd inning of game 2 today. The 0-2. Enright elevates it to center field. Langer's got a sprint back on the warning track. Woolley tags from second. She advances to third and is just 60 feet away from scoring an insurance run for the Aggies here in the 6th.
Enright has had a lot of hard-hit, elevated balls in these last 2 games, putting Mizzou outfield to work.
Did they just appeal back to second? Is that what happened?
They did.
Yeah, to see if the runner left early. Did not.
Correct. You technically don't have to throw it. You can just ask.
Ground ball up to Grove. After fumbling it, is able to get the out at first, but Texas A&M will take that because they score a run.
Yeah, if you think someone left early, you can just ask, and they'll either signal safe, and if they don't do anything, you know you need to throw it.
Olivia Johnson, the catcher, 1 for 2 today with a single. Squares around to bunt, lays it down the first baseline. Pinnell over to first, and that ends the inning. Texas A&M does score 1 more to add to the lead, and it's 3-0 as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Emily Kennedy with the full 7 innings in the game 1 win. And really, she gave up 5 runs, but 4 of them came on 1 swing of the bat, the grand slam for Madison Walker. Other than that, she was really good too. Stefania Abriscato slashes one in the gap in left center. It rolls to the wall, and it's a leadoff double to begin the 6th for the Tigers.
Abriscato's been one of the only 2 hitters that have been hot for Missouri. Sees a pitch on the outer half, gets her hands fully extended through this ball, and drives it into left center field for a double.
The 6th inning was the big inning in game 1 for the Tigers when they scored the 4 runs. They took a 5-4 lead at one point before Texas A&M responded back with 3 runs in the 7th to win the game. And it started just like that. It was a Julia Crenshaw double to lead off the inning. This time it's a Stefania Abriscato leadoff double. And now Danielle Blackston is the pinch runner for Mizzou.
Yep, Mizzou's really been silent until this point.
Only the 3rd hit of the game for Missouri hitters against Lessentine. First pitch to Madison Walker, who had a giant swing of the bat in game 1. The grand slam that made it 5-4 Missouri in the 6th inning, her team-leading 16th home run of the season. This one's a chopper towards short. Woolley's only play is on to first. That advances Blackston to third. She's 60 feet away from scoring Missouri's first run of the game.
Designated player number 3,
Taylor Ebbs coming to the plate, and these are the kind of situations that Larissa Anderson wants her up in, RBI opportunities. Lifts it out of play to the left side, 0-1. She was telling you and I yesterday that that's what Taylor Ebbs has to be these final 3 weeks of the season. If Missouri's going to make a push to the NCAA tournament, when Ebbs comes up with runners on base, she has to bring them home.
Right. It's been a struggle across the board all season long. Timely hitting, and it has to happen now for these Tigers. They've got to figure out a way to break through and win some games here as of late.
Transfer from Kentucky, where she spent 3 years as a Wildcat. Missouri program that's not known for bringing in too many transfers, but Larissa Anderson said, one, the SEC experience. We knew she could play in this league. She was proven. And two, we needed that lefty bat in the middle of our lineup. The 2-1. That hops in there to Johnson, who gets the nice block, keeps it in front of her. 3 balls and a strike.
Missouri struggling to make offensive adjustments early on in both games. Not really getting any momentum going until third time through the lineup.
Ebbs holds the hand, she earns the walk, and there's runners on the corners for Missouri for Abby Hay, who is the tying run in the 6th.
Number 36, the first baseman, Abby Hay.
A second pinch runner of the inning coming in for Missouri, with Danielle Blackston already the pinch runner at third base. Addie Kohler is the pinch runner at first for the Tigers. Texas A&M is making a pitching change, with Sydney Lessentine's day coming to an end after 5 1/3 innings. Has given up just 3 hits, no runs as of now. There's a new pitcher coming in next. Emily Levitt is the new pitcher for Texas A&M, making her 12th appearance of the season. A majority of them out of the bullpen, where she's got a sub-1 ERA, Maddie. These are the moments that they bring her in. Late game, high leverage moments here in the 6th inning.
Very similar to Taylor Pinnell, but in a right-handed pitcher. Not gonna overpower you, gonna try to work in some changeups.
Sydney Lessentine, the freshman, was spectacular. 5 1/3, 3 hits, no runs for the time being. She is responsible for both runners on base currently. What a luxury to have Lessentine as your number 2, to have that kind of performance as number 1 Texas A&M tries to sweep the doubleheader and clinch at least the series win, with potentially an opportunity to sweep the series tomorrow. Abby Hay launches into right center field, and it's down between Enright and Harper. Blackston comes in to score. Kohler gets held at third. It's an RBI double for Abby Hay.
Of hitting from Abby Hay, as we've been saying, hasn't had a ton of at-bats this season just due to an injury, but is starting to work her way back into being a big impact player for this Missouri team, coming up with a double in such a clutch moment.
A batting average below 200 on the season for Abby Hay, who's just been battling through injuries for a large majority of the season, but that's a clutch moment to come up big in.
And I can't help but question the pitching change, Noah. Lessentine still had a pretty good game going to pull her out.
Kara Daly rips it right up to center field. It's caught. The double play is in time to end the inning. Or is it? Well, the initial ruling was a double play to end the inning after a base running miscue on a ball that hung up in center field.
I'm not sure what the call is going to be, Noah.
The ruling on the field is obstruction on the shortstop. The runner cannot be put out between the two bases. Should be placed back at second base.
Well, that's a big break for Missouri. An obstruction that allows Abby Hay to stay at second. The inning is not over, and Missouri has another life.
What's not great base running was
No.
almost a pretty costly miscue to go from, 2 outs with runners on third and second to being the end of the inning. She needs to freeze as soon as this ball gets put up into the air, and she just keeps rolling on through, but she does make contact with the shortstop.
Yeah. It's Coco Woolley, the shortstop. Her and Abby Hay colliding between second and third base. But you're right, the obstruction call saves Missouri because it wasn't great base running, and they had Abby Hay.
Yeah, Coco Woolley, the shortstop, just turns around to get a gauge on the ball. Probably not expecting Abby Hay to be anywhere near there. And runs into her for obstruction.
So there are 2 outs in the inning, but Missouri still got both runners in scoring position. The tying run is at second. For Madison Updegrove, the freshman's first at-bat of the game. She just entered as a defensive replacement last half inning. Tie and tight, 1-1. Levitt throws a couple in a row out of the zone. This one skips into Johnson. It's 2 balls and a strike. Two-one. Updegrove elevates it into right field. Harper settles underneath it, and that ends the inning. But again, it was miscues that you're talking about, where they had what looked like it could have been a double play ball, but instead, ball was dropped at second. They don't get anybody out, and Texas A&M made them pay for it. And those are the things that the #1 team in the country is going to do. If you make mistakes and you give them more than 3 outs in an inning, they'll take advantage of it.
Right, and it's not like Texas A&M has been absolutely slaughtering Missouri. Missouri's just not playing fundamental softball.
Powell, short hops the glove of Updegrove, the second baseman, who makes a nice snag and throws it over to first for the out.
Great snag. Ball seems to be going behind her, and Updegrove sticks her glove out, makes a nice little short hop over there, and throws her out at first base.
Mari Harper at the plate with 2 quick outs in the inning. Out in front of the changeup for Pinnell. The 1-1. Roller back to the pitcher. Pinnell off the glove, over to first. Not in time. A little bit of a fake out, too, from the first base umpire. It looked like he was going to signal out and then called it safe.
Yeah.
Missouri is challenging the call at first base of the runner being safe. This play is under further review.
I think it's going to be upheld.
I think so too. But mine as well. 7th inning.
That's the first angle there that's probably the best angle for Missouri, I think, but I think the other two, it felt like the foot was on the bag before the ball got there.
Oh, it's close.
Yeah, it is.
It is very bang bang, and as you know, Noah, tie does go to the runner.
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. The runner will be safe. This is Missouri's second challenge.
So Harper's there, 2 outs. Texas A&M has a base runner for Maya Perez at the plate. Golden, the pinch runner at first base for A&M. We're getting to the 4th time through the lineup for Taylor Pinnell, the normal closer, who has started a few games this season, has only gone the full 7 innings once this season. That came all the way back on February 20th against Rutgers when she threw a 5-hit shutout.
I honestly think she's done a pretty good job.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, 6+ innings against the #1 team in the country, 3 runs, 6 hits.
Right, and it's, when you're facing the #1 team in the country, it's always how are you going to keep the ball in the park as a pitching staff. And they haven't really given up that many home runs today, and Pinnell hasn't given up any.
The only one that was given up was in the 1st inning of Game 1. Mac Barber hit a 3-run home run off Sierra Harrison. Texas A&M has shown that power at times this season. Missouri pitching has given up the home run quite a bit. (3-0) to Perez. Four-pitch walk, couple on base for Texas A&M after 2 very quick outs to begin the inning.
Looks like they're going to pinch hit for Barbara.
It's interesting. 3-run home run in Game 1. Also had an RBI single in Game 2. She's driven in 4 runs over the course of the doubleheader.
I'm sure this conversation that's going on has something to do with that 4-pitch walk prior. And then a pinch hitter coming in off the bench. Go at him, attack.
Pinnell does stay in.
Hitting for Barbara is number 8, Frankie Vrozil.
Frankie Vrozil, the freshman, pinch hitting, her first at-bat of the day. 326 on the season. First pitch, rolls it over to the first baseman, Abby Hay, and that ends the inning. Missouri has 3 outs to work with, down 3-1 as we head to the bottom of the 7th.
I have expected.
Kaylee Langer gets hit again. 2nd straight at bat. She's been hit by a pitch. And the leadoff batter is on base. The tying run coming to the plate with nobody out.
Yeah, and Langer just not scared to turn into that pitch. Worst thing that happens is it hits her in the back, and that's what makes her so successful in getting hit by a pitch so often.
7th time she's been hit by a pitch this season. That leads Mizzou. Levitt hands the ball off to Emily Kennedy, who went a complete game, 7 innings in game 1 of the doubleheader, and she's coming on to be asked to get the last 3 outs of game 2. Emily Kennedy is the pitcher who comes in here in the 7th inning, asked to get the final 3 outs of the game after going a complete game and earning the win in game 1 of the doubleheader.
And this just shows that A&M is not willing to lose a game to Missouri, making sure that they keep a hold of that #1 spot. But this is also what makes the A&M staff so great, is they're truly unselfish. And they're willing to do it and kind of piece it together to get through all 7 innings.
Through 113 pitches in that complete game of game 1 of the doubleheader. Being asked to just throw 1 inning, 3 outs, sweep the doubleheader. Blows that right by Nevaeh Watkins, 1 out. And here's a look back at game 1. She did give up 5 runs, but 4 of them came on a grand slam from Madison Walker, but she was dealing in the circle in game 1.
Yeah, threw a ton of heat, throwing close to 70 miles an hour up in the zone. Hard to even get your hands on that, let alone even try to get the ball off the bat. Did a great job in game 1, minus the grand slam, but coming back here to close the door, throwing some more heat to these Missouri hitters is just a changeup or a different look than what we just saw previously.
Missouri's best hitter in the box to face Kennedy. Julia Crenshaw, who's been dealing with a hand injury. Missed a couple games, has started both games of this doubleheader, but she was pinch hit for back in the 5th inning by Claire Cahalan. But here in the 7th, game on the line, she's the tying run. She comes to the plate.
Yeah, and I think if you're a senior in this moment like Julia Crenshaw, you're not missing an opportunity to get in that bat. No matter how your hand feels, you're chomping at the bit to get your team across the finish line.
4-pitch walk. Didn't even have to test that hand out at all by swinging the bat. Tying run on base, game-winning run here in the bottom of the 7th, coming to the plate with Stefania Abriscato.
Wow. Look at the passion that Julia Crenshaw has in that at-bat, doing everything she can for her team. This truly meant something to her, and she knows what's at stake, trying to fire up that Missouri dugout and pass the bat to Stefania Abriscato.
First pitch strike to Abriscato. She's had herself a nice day. An RBI single in game 1, a double her last time up here in game 2. Abriscato chops it back to the pitcher. Kennedy's on to first. She takes the safe play to get the out. 2 down.
And timely hitting, Noah, that's what Missouri has struggled with for the last 2 games. But Madison Walker was a different story in game 1 with her timely hitting.
A grand slam in the 6th from Madison Walker that gave the Missouri Tigers the lead, and it came against Emily Kennedy. 16 home runs this season for Walker. If she hits one here, she walks it off.
And Walker has really been either a out or home run type of kid as of late.
Walker right back up the middle. It's into center field for a base hit. Langer scores. Crenshaw scores. This game is tied in the 7th. Madison Walker delivers against the #1 team in the nation.
Wow, Madison Walker really giving her team a chance both games. Takes a ball that's left over the heart of the plate, drives it back up the middle, does a great job for her team. Talk about timely hitting, Noah. Madison Walker's done it both games today.
A 6th inning grand slam in game 1, a 7th inning 2-run single to tie it in game 2. The clutch gene is alive and well in Madison Walker. Foul back by Ebbs, the senior.
And I have to wonder about the pitching change matchup, Noah, knowing that Madison Walker previously hit a grand slam off Emily Kennedy for A&M. I'm wondering now if that was the best decision.
I think a lot of it comes down to the big picture body of work, though, right? Kennedy's been your ace. That's who you want in the circle. 7th inning. It kind of doesn't matter who's in the box, right?
Right, I agree. Trying to make sure that your workhorse and the person who's probably had the toughest innings all year long is the one with the ball.
Another walk. Game-winning run in scoring position for Missouri. The Tigers have beat the #1 team in the nation once already this year against Oklahoma about a month ago when the Sooners were 28-0 at the time. They've got a chance to take down #1 again tonight. High and outside, 1-0 to Abby Hay.
And Abby Hay has been seeing the ball pretty good today, Noah, for battling an injury all year long. Seems like she's starting to find her groove a little bit.
Last 2 at-bats have been base hits. She singled and then had an RBI double in the 6th. The 1-1. Inside corner, 1-2. Abby Hay's dad with a camera around his neck. An opportunity to capture what could be a massive moment for Missouri. Swing and a miss. Hay goes down on strikes, but Missouri does score 2 in the 7th, and we're going extra innings in Columbia. For Texas A&M in the 8th. First pitch of extra innings from Taylor Pennell is slashed into left field by Woolley. It's a base hit. She wants 2. The throw is over the head of Updegrove, and Woolley's into 3rd. Thought about taking off for home, but she retreats to 3rd, and the leadoff batter for Texas A&M is just 60 feet away from giving the Aggies the lead.
Wow, what a great pace of hitting right here. Slashes it into left field. Another costly miscue. Ball gets thrown over second base, and Coco Woolley's able to get all the way over to 3rd.
The way that A&M has responded in both games to these late game heroics from Missouri. The Tigers take a 6th inning lead. A&M comes back right away in the 7th, Maddie. They score 3 runs, they win the game. They give up a 7th inning lead. We go to extras, and on the first pitch of the inning, Woolley finds herself on 3rd base.
Right, and I'm sure Tricia Ford, head coach for A&M, is wishing that they would put him away sooner.
Right.
You know, wait until the game gets close to put him away.
Ellie Enright's had a couple big swings of the bat today. A double, a part of that 3-run 7th inning in game 1, also doubled in her first at-bat of this game back in the 2nd. 1-0. That's in there at the knees, outside corner, evens the count at a ball and a strike. Game 3 of the series is tomorrow after a quick turnaround. It's a noon Central first pitch to try to beat the weather after a doubleheader today. DeMent lifts it high in the air. It's shallow, stays in the infield for Updegrove. Woolley thought about it, wanted to test the arm of Updegrove.
Second baseman, number 16, KK DeMent.
Here comes KK DeMent. Way out in front of that changeup on pitch number 100 of the day for Taylor Pennell.
And that pitch is really what's bought her all this time today, Noah. They're not able to really time her up because of how effective that changeup is. They're not able to get on time with her hard stuff or her slow stuff. I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen these A&M hitters come up with a different plan on how to attack Taylor Pennell and sit on that changeup a little bit more. But I don't really think A&M was expecting to see her for a full 7.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. 7+. 1-1. Squares to bunt, lays it down. The flip home is in time. They got Lily at the plate. Madison Walker, who's done it with the bat all day long, comes up massive with the glove.
Missouri finally starting to see some of these underclassmen step up and make big plays in big moments. Madison Walker having a phenomenal day up to bat.
Texas A&M is challenging the call of the runner being out at home plate. This play is under further review.
Yeah, Texas A&M is going to challenge him, and I don't blame them for a second. This stage in the game, you've got to, but we've seen a couple looks that I would imagine would have this one be pretty quickly upheld.
Pretty good bunt too, but Madison Walker was just all over it. Yeah, making big plays in big moments for the sophomore. Madison Walker, great tag by Julia
After
Crenshaw.
review, the ruling on the field is upheld. The runner is out. There was no obstruction. That is Texas A&M's second challenge.
Madison Walker has been spectacular today with the bat. A grand slam in game 1, a 2-run single in the 7th inning of this game to send it to extras, and now fields the bunt, makes the play at home to keep this a tie game.
And that's really what Missouri needs, people to step up in the big moments, not be afraid.
The pinch hitter for Texas A&M is Kylie Griffin. Saw her pinch hit in game 1 as well. She's in for Olivia Johnson. 1-0. Slow roller in foul territory, touched up by Crenshaw. One. Ripped foul, third base side. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Taylor Pennell is a strike away from ending this 8th inning and giving Missouri bats the opportunity to walk it off in the bottom. 7 2/3 tonight. A season high in innings for the normal closer, who's been phenomenal in the starting role tonight. 2-2. Runner on first, 2 down. Here comes the 2-2. Rolls it to third, takes a hop off the glove of Walker, and the inning continues.
And these are the little things that I've been talking about, Noah. All the little things that make up the big thing, which is winning the game for Missouri. These things always seem to find a way to come back and bite you. Pennell rolls out a beautiful soft rolling ground ball. And we'll see if the #1 team in the country takes advantage of this.
There was an error in the top of the 7th of game 1 by this Missouri defense that proved to be costly in that 3-run 7th for Texas A&M to win it by 2.
And it is surprising to see Missouri have these types of defensive miscues. In years past, they've been known to have a very, very tight defense. They've had a Gold Glove shortstop, a Gold Glove left fielder in, the past 5 years. So this is not the norm for Missouri softball.
See if this error proves to be costly in game 2. Kramer Eschke watches one dip below the knees inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Go ahead run for A&M is in scoring position with the pinch runner being Scout Lovell.
And I don't think people really always understand the impact of what that error potentially had. Now Pinnell has to throw to another hitter. A&M lineup is truly deadly. And now she's at the 9 hole and about to turn it back over if they don't get an out. It truly was pretty costly if they can't find an out right now.
Make it 2-1. First strike of the at-bat to Kramer Eschke. 9-hole hitter. Top of the order with Kennedy Powell, the leadoff hitter, standing on deck. Lifted, left side, tailing towards foul territory, and Daly just can't quite get there in time. Great effort from Kara Daly, the shortstop, but it's 2-2. Two on, 2 out, 2-2 the count in a 3-3 tie in extra innings. Swing and a miss! Taylor Pinnell is fired up! Our 15th inning of softball today. Game 2 of the doubleheader has gone extra innings, and in the bottom of the 9th, Missouri with an opportunity to walk off the #1 team in the nation. It's Kara Daly at the plate, who's come up pretty big in moments like these throughout her career as she chops it foul third base side. 2 years ago, when Daly was a sophomore, had back-to-back days with a walk-off home run against Arkansas. Tonight, the Tigers looking for their 2nd win against the #1 team in the country this season after doing so against Oklahoma earlier in the year when the Sooners were #1 at the time. Slapped foul by Daly, stays 1-2. Emily Kennedy, the ace in the circle for Texas A&M. Fields it on a ball hit right back to her. Great play in the circle by Kennedy. There's one away.
Probably nobody that you want on the mound more if you're playing for A&M than Emily Kennedy. Just a lot of trust, a lot of faith in her abilities. She's been the workhorse this season. They know that she's equipped to handle these types of situations.
Win complete game in the win in game 1 of the doubleheader. Entered in the 7th inning of this game 2. She gave up a 2-run single to tie the game at 3. Aiden Sokolowski is the pinch hitter for Missouri facing Kennedy. Chases that one upstairs. 0-2.
Tough to come in off the bench and face an All-American like Emily Kennedy.
Just off the edge of the plate outside, 1-2. Cut on and missed. Kennedy with the strikeout. She's got 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 8th.
Not wasting any time if you're Emily Kennedy with Sokolowski. Showed that the hard and fast stuff gets right by her, and that's what Emily Kennedy went to right away.
It's on the outside corner from Kennedy again. She starts ahead of Langer, 0-1. And she is not messing around here in the 8th inning.
Trying to get her team back in the dugout.
Langer squares to bunt, fouls it straight back. It's 0-2. Chance to make this an incredibly quick bottom of the 8th and allow the bats to come back up for Texas A&M in the 9th. Oh, 2. Langer cuts and misses. Back-to-back strikeouts for Kennedy to end the inning, and we're going to the 9th in Columbia. Single and a pair of walks. And she launches it to right field. Texas A&M. A hug from Larissa Anderson to Taylor Pinnell, who was fantastic tonight for a majority of the game. After 8 1/3, her day is done. Texas A&M leads by a run. Well, at least for the moment, Amari Harper is the hero of this one for Texas A&M. A solo home run here in the 9th inning, a ball that she absolutely demolished to give Texas A&M this 4-3 lead, which promptly brings a pitching change for Missouri.
But like I said, Noah, I think Pinnell was just on borrowed time, but you can expect that out of any pitcher that goes into the 8th inning. It's just a matter of time and how much longer can they go. But you hate to rush to take them out when they've had such a successful day.
That's the case for anybody going 8, 9 innings, much less a closer who typically throws 1, maybe 2 innings max. For Pinnell to start, go 8 1/3 today was really good for a majority of the day, but a couple big swings for Texas A&M may very well be the difference in this one.
Right, and you hate to take Pinnell out with how effective her changeup was.
Hi, Mom, she says. Another miss for McCann. Marissa McCann threw in relief in game 1 as well. But a very different scenario when she came in that game. It was 2 outs into the 2nd inning after Sierra Harrison was only able to go an inning and 2/3. Then Marissa McCann was solid for the next several innings into the 7th before she was pulled. Maya Perez lifts it out of play. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Like I said earlier, I think we'll probably see McCann all 3 games for Missouri, but wouldn't be shocked if we see Pinnell show up again tomorrow as well.
3-2. Called strike 3. Outside corner, the off-speed from McCann froze Perez.
And the off-speed pitch is really what's kept A&M at bay all day long. Not able to figure out the changeup, not able to time it up. not adjusting to that pitch at all. No matter if it's been Pinnell or McCann, it has been so effective for both of them.
Mac Barbara at the plate, an RBI single earlier in this game. A 3-run home run in game 1 of the doubleheader as she watches strike 1. McCann gets ahead 0-2. One's outside, a ball and 2 strikes now from McCann to Barbara. 2 outs here in the 9th. Texas A&M has taken a 1-run lead on the solo home run for Amari Harper. Aggies trying to add more insurance here in the 9th. That hops into Crenshaw. McCann and Missouri, meanwhile, trying to end the inning here, limit the damage as well as they can, and give the offense an opportunity in the bottom of the 9th. Two and 2. Slashed out of play by Barbara. We'll see another 2-2. Worth noting, all 3 of these games in this series will be played in a span of less than 24 hours after a 3 p.m. first pitch in game 1 of the doubleheader today. That's rolled to third. Walker on to first in time. That ends the top of the 9th, but one that is memorable for Amari Harper and Texas A. To do up for the Missouri Tigers, starting with Nevaeh Watkins. Everything you can ask for in a game like this.
Right. Missouri again trying to play from behind, but is in a good spot in the order to do it.
Emily Kennedy, the ace for Texas A&M, who threw all 7 innings in the win in game 1, came in the 7th inning in relief here in game 2. Gave up a 2-run single that tied the game at 3-3 in the bottom of the 7th. Worked a very quick 8th inning. That was 3 up, 3 down, and now trying to slam the door shut against the Tigers in the 9th. Two balls and a strike to Nevaeh Watkins, who as of about a week and a half ago was not in the lineup at all. Had never started a game, had played in just 5 all season. She takes a strike on the outside corner to make it 2-2. But since she played in the midweek last week against Southern Illinois, she's been a part of the starting lineup just about every game since. And works it full here.
And I think it's important to point out, Noah, when we talked to head coach Larissa Anderson for Missouri earlier this week, she said coming out of the fall, Nevaeh was going to be their starting right fielder.
Fouls that straight off the mask of the catcher. Yeah, said the plan was for her to be the everyday starting right fielder, but an injury that she suffered during the fall sidelined her for a while, and by the time she was able to come back, they'd kind of gotten their outfield the way they wanted to. Kennedy blows it by Watkins. Strikeout number 5 in relief over the last 2 1/3 innings.
And Emily Kennedy absolutely not fazed. Not a stranger to tough situations. Throws a beautiful ball right at the kneecaps. Nevaeh Watkins fans right through it.
Julia Crenshaw, the leadoff hitter now for Missouri. 0-1 on the off speed from Kennedy. She walked back in the 7th. That really sparked that 7th inning when Missouri scored a couple runs. Fouls it straight back. It's 0-2.
And A&M really in a unique position in terms of their pitching staff right now. They burned up 2 of their subs that came in relief. So if Emily Kennedy doesn't get it done right now, their only other choice is to go back to Lesentine. But she's doing a great job thus far in relief.
1-2. Got her again. Back-to-back strikeouts to open the 9th for Kennedy, and 1 out away from a win for Texas A&M.
Wow, what a great pitch from Emily Kennedy right above the belt. Ball has great tail inside. Lots of spin headed upward. Great job from Emily Kennedy in these tight moments. But Noah, I think she looks like she's getting better as the day goes on.
She's thrown 9 2/3 innings between the 2 games, the doubleheader, and has only gotten better. It's inside to Stefania Bruscato, 2-0.
And that's what you want out of your true senior, a competitor. Gave up a grand slam in the last game, is coming. Tigers. Ultimately, the Tigers were not able to generate enough with the offense to get it done today.
A 9-inning thriller goes the way of Texas A&M on the road. The Aggies have now won 8 straight in SEC play. They sweep the doubleheader. They've clinched the series win. And tomorrow, in all of about 15 hours, they go for a chance at sweeping the series here in Columbia. And the hero, Amari Harper, with a solo home run in the top of the 9th to win it for Texas A&M. Late game dramatics in both games of this doubleheader where Texas A&M